This is a Thunderdog podcast.
Hello and welcome to Midnight Musing. This is the podcast where I talk to my friends about the things that keep them up at night. I'm Evan, your host and a sad boy. On this episode, I talked to one of my good friends, Nicole. She's one of the inspirations for the show. A conversation we had kind of late at night for me, very late at night for her. We were in different time zones. So it was about 11 p.m. for me and 5 a.m. for her. But that conversation kind of got me thinking, and it's sort of why I wanted to start this show. So in this episode, we're talking about graduation. I just graduated. She's graduating in the upcoming year. And there's a lot of anxiety about that. It's sort of a weird part of your life where you're transitioning into something and you might not know what that is. So without further ado, let's jump into my conversation with Nicole. For those of you that might not know me, I think everyone knows me that's going to be listening to this, but for those of you that might not know me, I just graduated from university.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And Nicole, you are 1 year away.
I know, going into fourth year.
Yeah, so...
It's terrifying.
Because, I mean, like, basically all the people I know are graduating or have just graduated, and it's fucked up.
Do you find it worse now that you have graduated, or did you feel worse when you were in my stage and you're about to graduate?
Probably before, when I was in your state, like, where I would just be wondering what's up with
everything.
Like, I don't know, like, once grad happens, you just kind of sit there, or at least I sat there, and I was like, well, what now?
No, I get that. I think, like, my biggest problem is, like, when I was in grade 12, I had already known pretty much the 3 schools I was applying to. I knew what I wanted to do. I've known that since grade 9. And now I'm in 4th year and I have like 5 distinct grad programs. I don't know which one I want. I feel very confused.
Or do you even want to go to grad school?
I do, I think. Okay. But I feel like if I don't do it now, I never will. Like, people always say, oh, you can work a few years and then go back. But I don't feel like people go back.
It's becoming a more common thing. Like, I feel like maybe a decade ago people wouldn't go back, but like, I know a few people that worked at the school I went to that they were planning on going back, like, fall of 2019. Like, they're getting their shit together for that. So, like, I think it's becoming a thing. But, like, also you have the momentum right now of being in school. I think getting out of school and then going back in would be terrible.
No, like, agreed. I mean, like, even during the summer, like, it's August now. Like, I've been out of school for about 4 months, and I still check the student portal occasionally, just out of force of habit. Like, I'll open my computer, and the first thing I do is, oh, what do I have to do? Like, what do I have to hand in today? And
what's
it's
the
like,
assignment?
Oh, nothing. I'm like, oh.
All right, I'm just living my goddamn life.
Yeah.
What the fuck does that... Basically, what does that mean? Like...
Yeah, no, I get that. I'm stressed.
Yeah, like, we did kindergarten, grades 1 through 12, and then 4 years of college. We both did that.
Yeah.
And that's all, like, very segmented.
Oh, for
sure.
Where
you only have to worry about the next 3 to 6 months of your life.
Pretty much, yeah.
And you know that after that, it's already been decided for you.
Oh, 100%.
And so, like, you kind of just, like, you start to think that 6 months is a long-term goal.
No, for sure, definitely.
And now I'm sitting here like, okay, I graduated. I'm not going back to school. Hell no. In theory, I have, like, 60 years left in my life.
Okay.
Like, what the fuck what does that mean?
I don't even know. I feel like it's interesting because, like, me and you are at completely different stages, but in theory, we're really not that far apart.
No.
Like, we're a year apart and we're feeling completely different things. Like, I'm insanely stressed because I don't know what I want to do, and I've never felt that before. So I don't know how to like interpret it. I don't know how to react. So what just ends up happening is I freak out every couple of days because I'm like, oh, what am I going to do? And then it's the fact that there's kind of expensive exams that I need to be taking that I'm not entirely confident in, or it's just the fact that they're like $300 for an exam that will determine. It's like writing the SATs. I'm essentially writing the SAT. Like I'm starting over again. I'm in grade 12, except I don't know what I want to do, and you know, it's more competitive and
so much more competitive.
Well, it's not like I feel like when you're in high school, like getting the grades was easier to an extent.
Definitely.
So now it's like not as confident going into applications. So it's just unsettling.
Yeah. And because there's no wrong answer.
No, there isn't.
Like literally anything you
goes.
decide,
like
you'll figure it out. You'll succeed. Like
we're living.
Yeah.
Well, you're actually living. I'm still in this student bubble, but now I'm just in a stress student bubble.
And I think that's part of what kind of scares me about life. It's like, okay, but like, am I always going to have something to look forward to? Like when you're in school, you look forward to, in essence, like it's a negative feeling, but you look forward to exams.
Oh, yeah. Like you have something. Yeah, for sure. No, I get that.
There's an end state.
There's always something going on. Like, yeah, I'm going to study for 3 months. Then I'm going to do my exams. And then I'm going to get my degree. And then it's, oh, now what?
And then it's like, okay, now I have to decide what my goals in life are. Because it's not just
right, where we get like married and stuff.
Yeah. Ew, I don't know.
You don't know about that one?
Not immediately. Fuck. I don't know. Like, we're both 97 babies.
It's true, we are.
So, like, the fact that people our age, 20, 21, 22-ish, in that range, the fact that they're getting married is insane to me.
Well, I know. I told you I went to that engagement party for someone who's my age. And I'm like, how? How are you at that stage? And then it makes me think, like, what am I doing?
Yeah, why am I not at that stage?
Why am I not at that stage? I want to be at the confident married stage.
I want to be at the confident, I know where my money is coming from stage.
Oh, for sure. Well, I feel like once you're in that stage of, like, getting married, it's like, oh, it's something to look forward to. It's like, again, working towards that end goal. Like, you plan for a year, then you get married. I don't really know what happens after that. But, I mean, it's at least, like,
you work
1
towards
year.
Divorce?
I mean, maybe. That's comforting.
Yeah, always. But, like... Yeah, so I don't know.
No, graduation, the idea of graduating insanely stresses me out. And I don't know how to react to it. I don't really know how I'm supposed to feel.
Well, it's supposed to be like a sense of accomplishment, right?
But I don't feel accomplished.
No, like I still feel like a dumbass.
I feel like a dumbass too.
And I have 2 degrees now.
That's true. So you're going to be a smarter dumbass than me.
Eh.
In theory.
Well, I mean, they're media degrees. So.
See, I feel like we're both at such, like, to me the weirdest part is the fact that you graduated last year and like I'm going into my 4th year, like we're a year apart, yet I am, like, we're at such different, like in 1 year so much changes. Like in 1 year I need to have my shit figured out. Not even in a few months I need to have my shit figured out.
Like we are basically, like, if graduation is a door, we are standing on opposite sides of it.
Yeah.
Right? Like I have walked through that door and like, but
I saw you walk through that door.
It's true, you did. You watched the live stream, which is so stupid.
You're welcome.
Such a waste of time. Walking through that door doesn't give you any answers is the problem. Like, you putting on that gown doesn't give you anything really in terms of concreting what you're worried about. It's just kind of, it's a kick in the ass, and it's just like, all right, now you're on your own officially. You're officially not a student anymore. Like,
that's weird.
You're a fully licensed adult. Go exist.
That's just kind of scary. Like, thinking about that stresses me out so much. And I wonder sometimes if that's why I'm using grad school as almost like a clutch. Like, I don't want to start working. So I guess I'll just keep doing school until I figure it out. And then it gets to the point where, okay, you can't be in school forever. Well, I mean, you can, but you need to have a lot of money to do that. And at what point, like, do I have to start living my life? Like, at what point do I call it quits?
Yeah.
So I don't even know if I want to do grad school, or do I not want to start living yet?
In elementary school, they're like, this is setting up for high school. And then in high school, they're like, this is setting up for you for university. And then in university, it's like, This is to get a piece of paper. Bye.
Bye.
See ya.
Figure it out.
Wouldn't want to be ya. So it's like I don't feel set up for life at all. Like,
no,
I have practical skills in a way, but in no way do I feel like I am ready to live a fully rounded life, I guess.
No, I get that.
I still feel like a child.
How do people feel, like your friends that have graduated? Like, how are they doing? Does anyone have their shit figured out yet? Or is everyone kind of in the same boat?
I think a lot of people are... Some people are very confident in what they have done or what they're doing. But that's because they were doing it before they graduated, and now they just don't have school getting in the way of them doing it.
Okay.
Like, school is basically an obstacle to them already doing what they want to do. Whereas I feel like a lot of the people I talk to are like sort of in the same boat, where it's like, I'm a student, I don't have to figure out what being a person means until I'm graduated. It just sneaks up on you so fast, where you're like, okay, I'm in 4th year, but I still have a full year. Okay, I have a semester. Okay, well, graduation isn't until after my exams by a month and a half. Oh, I just walked across the stage. What the fuck? Like,
I get that.
I think part of it is just like naturally procrastinating. But like, that doesn't mean I'm not doing things.
No, that's
It just
fair.
means that I don't know. I don't know how to be myself, I guess. Like, I know how to be student, Evan.
Oh, for sure.
And I'm not saying he's a good student.
Oh, no, I get that too. I'm definitely not a good student.
But, like, I know how that works. I understand the school system. I understand how to write an assignment in a way that will get me a good mark.
Yeah.
But now I don't have marks to get. Now it's like you work to get a higher paycheck, I guess.
Yeah, so you can get a house and you can do all those things that they tell you that you want to do, like get married and have kids and have enough money to go on vacation.
And that all seems so abstract. Like, me owning a house seems impossible. Me having more than $5,000 in my bank account seems impossible. I'll be honest.
So what's one thing you would have done differently? Like, I'm where you were last year. I'm, still student Nicole. So what do you wish you would have done differently?
Like, literally, like, spend as little amount of time on school as possible, and basically let school be an obstacle that you have to get around, rather than it being
Your entire
the center
life.
of your universe. Seems to be the right answer. Like, you want to hit the ground running, basically, from what I can tell from other people being, like, excelling straight out of college, is, like, have something going already, and then once school's done, you can focus full time on it because you don't have to deal with that bullshit. But that's also impossible because of how the school system works, how much time it takes.
Oh, 100%. It is literally your whole life.
Yeah.
That is all I think about. Like, and now it's me on overdrive.
Yeah.
Like, to the point where I don't know what I want to do. I'm more scared I'm not going to figure it out. I secretly want only one place, like grad school, to let me in, so I don't have to make that decision.
Right.
I'll feel really shitty if I only get into one, but it would make me feel better.
Yeah, because then it's just a clear path. Because, yeah, like we said, there's no right answer. Like,
No.
there might be better answers for you personally, right?
Oh, definitely. I don't know. I'm a person who's I have always had a plan, and I've always known what I have to do to kind of get to that end goal. And now I don't know what the end goal is. So I don't know what I need to do to even get there.
Yeah, how do you take the first steps if you don't know where you're headed?
Yeah, exactly. That's the real problem. How do you take the first steps if you don't know where you're going?
Yeah.
I don't know what I want to do. I'm not even sure what I want to be. I think the one thing I'm good at doing is I know what I don't want to do.
Yeah.
but that's a lot easier to figure out that than what you actually want to do.
It's definitely an elimination game, basically, rather than, like, some people definitely have one thing they love and they can turn that into a career, and more power to them. But I feel like a lot of people, it's more of, I don't know what I want, but I know I don't want this. And then, so you have to, but the problem is you have to spend time to know that you don't like doing it. So, like, you have to spend a few months doing something to realize, wow, this is awful. I would die if I kept doing this. I'm going to do something different. And then you try something different. And it's like, well, this isn't awful, but I'm not happy doing it.
No, I get that.
And, like, it's that way with jobs. It's that way with hobbies. It's that way with people.
I feel like that part kind of stresses me out as well, like thinking about the whole social aspect, because I mean, again, we did have a really different experience in the sense that you went to more of a traditional commuter school, and everyone at my school for the most part lives there. So it's going to be, I feel like during the summer we don't necessarily see each other as much because we're not from the same place.
Oh yeah, no.
And the thing is, I come back to Mississauga and I have, you know, those occasional high school friends that you have actually stayed in contact with. But, like, all of my university friends are gone. Like, they're not here. Like, some aren't even in this province. So it's like, oh, I'm going to graduate and, like...
And then everyone's going to go back
to... And then you get busy because you're going to be working or doing something.
Yeah, you have to figure something out.
Yeah, so it's like it makes me think, like, what's going to happen with those relationships as well, because that's also, like, you spend 4 years with people and that's your whole life.
Yeah, they're very formative years.
They really are. I've changed so much in the 4 years, and, like, thank God for that, like, in the sense of, I think it's cool that both of us went away for school, because, like, you do have that sense of independence. So I feel like in some ways we're not as fucked as some people. Like, we have the survival skills. But it makes me think, like, what's going to happen with those relationships?
Yeah. After first year, I basically didn't see anyone from...
High school?
I didn't see anyone from university because I went away to school, so I went back to my parents' place. And, like, never... obviously... partially my fault, but, like, never made any effort to see anyone from university. But then also I had changed a decent amount from end of grade 12 me.
Yeah.
So even hanging out with high school people didn't feel right, to the point where I, like, dropped a bunch of them.
Well, it's hard not to, especially those that kind of stay home, because I feel like you almost progress a lot faster than they do, just because you've been put in so many uncomfortable situations. Like, I remember the first time I was sick and I realized that it was just me, and if I want to get better, I need to figure this shit out, because no one's gonna be, you know, oh, do you want some soup, do you want ginger ale, or whatever.
No one's gonna keep track of how much Benadryl you've had in a day.
No one keeps track. No one cares. Like, it's, you're on your own, you need to figure it out. So in that sense, like, that kind of to a degree calms me down, but the uncertainty aspect is freaking me out so much.
Like, push comes to shove, I can get a retail job or a food service job, enough to pay bills, and I can survive. But there's a difference between surviving and living, right? Like, I could survive for a year. I don't know how much longer I would be able to do that. Like,
retail's insane. Retail is...
You do work retail. I've never had a retail job.
Really?
So, no.
I never knew that.
My first job was a martial arts instructor, and then...
That's fun.
I worked at a car plant. And then
I do remember that. That's how we met.
Which is how we met. I'm going to bleep that. And now I work where I work.
Yeah.
Which has its own issues.
Yeah, for sure.
It's another one of those, like, process of elimination things.
No, I get that. I think in some ways it's nice that it was at least your first job. It's just, like, the idea of me having a full-time job that's not 4 months long is terrifying. Like, oh, I might be, you know, working, and this is a place I could work for the rest of my life. Like, I know my dad has worked at the same company since he started. Like, he's only interviewed once, minus like promotions and stuff, but that's it.
Yeah, my dad's jumped a few jobs, but he literally got the job he has now 6 months after I was born.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And he's worked the same job. And I don't know how anyone does it. Like working at the car plant, I was in the cushy section.
What did you do?
I was in quality assurance. I got
Oh, no, I
to
do
drive
remember
the brand new
this.
cars.
You got the fun job.
I got to sit in air-conditioned vehicles and drive them with the radio on. And that's
nice.
the most depressed I've ever been. And people,
So that makes me want to give you a hug.
literally everyone I talked to
Mm-hmm.
had this story of, I went to post-secondary,
Mm-hmm.
or I got out of secondary school. I had big plans. Met a girl or met a boy, accidentally
Yeah.
had a baby or got married, or they bought a house
Mm-hmm.
because they had this job where it paid pretty well.
Well, yeah.
But then, oh shit, that's not a one-time purchase.
No.
That is recurring. Like
Yeah.
if you buy a house, that's 35 years.
Yeah.
Your mortgage is 35 years long. I don't know how to judge that amount of time.
I don't know.
That is so abstract. I don't even remember.
But
like,
we're not even 35
10
years old.
years.
We're turning 21. Well,
Exactly.
you're already 21, but I'm still a baby.
Yeah. So those people, they were still at that job 25, 30 years later, getting ready to retire. And they're like, I don't know what happened. They warned me so many times, do not come back after you graduate.
Because I feel like
You will get trapped here.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to just say that. I feel like a lot of the times you get a job, and if you're someone who, like, if you work during the year and you're making minimum wage and you start making anything pretty much above minimum wage,
Mhm.
it looks like a lot of money.
Yeah.
Like, I remember my very first full-time check, which was minimum wage, but it was full-time hours.
Yeah.
I almost fainted. I was like, oh my gosh, I
Insane.
didn't know you could make this much money.
Yeah.
Like, what do I do with all of this money?
Yeah. And that's why the shittiest jobs often pay the best.
Oh, for sure.
So that they can keep you there. Like, obviously retail doesn't
No, they don't pay you well.
pay you well, but you
No.
can get commissions in some places.
Oh, for sure. Depending on the store, you could earn a living.
Food service, you can make tips,
Yeah,
stuff like
100%.
that. So like there are like ways that
You can survive.
you can survive, but like that industry gets its hooks in you and then it's hard to get out.
Well, because why would you, like, I could have this job where, say, I'm making $30 an hour, and yeah, the job's shit, but I'm making $30.
Mhm.
Or I have to take an entry-level position where I'm making minimum wage, working 500 times harder just for the chance to progress.
And
It's-
especially if you've worked that $30 an hour job for a while.
Yeah, I know.
So you have you have the car for that tax bracket. You have the house for that tax bracket or
Mhm.
apartment that you're renting or whatever.
Yeah.
So taking that leap of faith just doesn't work because
You have all the stuff. You can't.
you can't afford it.
Mhm.
You need the safe money.
That's like, I feel like that's the root of kind of what we're talking about. It's all financial focus.
Yeah, basically. In the end, it's all about money.
Oh,
like
100%.
everyone says like, "Oh, it's not about the money. It's
No,
fucking about the
It is
money."
about the money, because how are you going to live? How are you going to
How do
pay
you
your
live?
bills
Yeah.
without money? Whether you like it or not, you need money to survive.
You love traveling? Great. How are you getting on a plane?
Yeah, exactly.
Without a plane ticket.
They're not cheap. And like there's just so many things to consider, and that's like one thing when I think about graduation is, am I going to be making, again, am I making the right choice?
Mm-hmm.
I just want someone to tell me, hey, Nicole, do this and you'll like it and you'll be happy. I just want kind of someone to make that decision for me, because I don't know how to make that decision. Like when I was in high school, it was,
Mm-hmm.
I don't like sciences. So
business.
I guess I'm going to do business because I don't know what else I can even do.
Yeah. I'm decent at math.
Yeah,
So-
pretty much. So I was like, oh,
Well, like,
I guess I'll do this.
in high school, it took me until halfway through grade 12
To make that
to
decision?
realize I wasn't going into science. Or
Really?
yeah, like it was about 2 months before we had to put in university
See, like that-
applications. Like I was in grade 12 physics in first semester,
Mm-hmm.
and my second semester was lined up to have grade 12 chem
And bio?
and
Or-
bio, I
yeah.
think.
Like the three main ones. Well, the only ones.
Yeah. So I'm like almost failing grade 12 physics in my first
Yeah.
semester. So the guidance counselor calls me in
Mm-hmm.
and they're like, do you want to do science? And I'm like, well, that's what I kind of have been doing my whole life.
See, I find that so interesting that you made that decision later, and it kind of, I'm going to be very honest, that made me a little calmer, because I knew from grade 9, I was like, I do not like sciences, so I'm just going to do business because I don't know what else to do. So from grade 9 onward, like I was looking at schools in grade 11. So I applied pretty much on the first day because I already knew what I wanted.
When I applied, I didn't know what Guelph Humber was. I thought I was going to Guelph. I legitimately did not do jack shit
I
research.
toured a lot of schools. Like I was very keen, I was very eager, and I knew exactly what I wanted. And that's why this part here is really hard for me because it's
What
I'm
do
in,
you want?
Yeah, I'm theoretically in the exact same spot, just now I'm getting an undergrad and I'm not getting a high school diploma.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know what I want to do, and I need to apply for stuff kind of soon. Like I'm writing my exams in September.
Yep. Your GMAT?
My GMAT in September, and that's like, again, it's like, wow, that's going to be like $300, so don't mess it up.
Yeah,
And if
because
you
that's
do, you're gonna
another
have to take it
300
again.
if you...
If I decide that, if I'm even confident enough to do it, if I mess it up the first time.
Yeah.
I don't know how to calm myself down, and that's like another problem. Like I'm getting more and more stressed, and like I keep doing things that in theory I should be doing, and it's not helping me calm down. So I don't know what to do.
Well, because part of it is just hurry up and wait, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
obviously you can study as much as you possibly can, but
Yeah.
like push comes to shove, all you can do is wait for the test day
I know.
and show up. Everything revolves around this one day,
Yeah.
and there's no way to make it come faster.
No.
So all we can do is sit and think about it.
Mm-hmm.
And my mind personally always goes to worst case scenario.
So does mine.
Of course. I think that's natural. Like, I remember in grade 12,
Mm-hmm.
we were talking about the average age of retirement, and I almost, like, started crying.
What is it?
It was, like, 64.
What the fuck?
And I, like, almost broke down, because I was like, one day, I'm going to be that old.
Yeah.
What the ever-loving fuck does that mean?
Then there's really no end goal. Like once you start working, you're like, okay, I'm saving for retirement.
For real? Like, I don't think millennials are going to get to retire, though.
No, we won't. But I feel like the problem is too, I don't know
We're
how
not
to...
even millennials. We're Gen Z,
That's
technically.
true, we are. I don't know how to sit and do nothing.
No.
So the fact that like I've been at home, like I'm not able to work right now, and all I'm thinking about is school is driving me crazy.
I can only relax if I'm ignoring a responsibility. I've realized
same
that about
here.
myself.
Yeah, for
Like-
sure. Like at school when you know you have an assignment, but you're just not doing it right
Yeah,
now.
you're just watching Netflix.
Yeah, and you're going out, or you're doing the exact opposite of what you should be doing, but you're fine.
Yeah.
Yet in the summer, I'm stressed.
Yeah.
About what?
Waiting.
Yeah.
Waiting is literally the worst
And I
part
might
of
have
being
to
alive.
wait until like mid to end of my last year to find out if I even got in.
Yeah, that's insane. Like,
I'm gonna go crazy. Like I think the thing was like in high school, I knew I would get in somewhere like with the grades I had, and I was like, this will be fine. I've also like everyone gets in somewhere for the most part,
for the most part.
right? So it's
Yeah.
like, oh, you're gonna be fine, and you see everyone else getting in, it's happy. But now it's like, no, we're all going different places.
Yeah, some people are like,
Some people have a full-time job offer
yeah,
in the middle of third year.
yeah.
Who?
Who?
How do you feel when people are like, when you hear these people doing all these incredible things? Like, so for you, it would be the people who have those immediate job offers and appear to be doing really well. And I guess in my perspective, it would be people who do have full-time job offers as well, but, you know, are like kind of relaxed throughout the final year. When you see those people, does it motivate you or does it discourage you?
I mean, personally, it discourages me because I immediately take the stance of, well, why the fuck don't you have that, you moron?
I'm the same way.
Like, it's very much like you clearly didn't try hard enough, or like not even try hard enough, like you just aren't talented enough to get noticed.
I am the exact same way.
Like, you are, I find myself to be a very middling person. Like, I'm not the shittiest by far, but I'm also like
Not the best.
not the best. Like, literally, if I'm doing something, I know someone I know can do it better than me. But like, I can do 20 different things okay.
Yeah.
I'd rather be able to do one thing so good it'll knock everyone's socks off.
And those are the people that appear to have it figured out.
Yeah, those are the people that like get attention or get the job offer or whatever. I don't really know how to apply things. Even though like I went to a half college program, I think the program was still very theoretical, where it's like, in theory, this is how you do it.
Yeah.
But it's like, okay, how do I make that a job? I don't know how to freelance, in all honesty.
Yeah.
Like, legally speaking,
Yeah.
I do not know how to declare freelance work on tax forms.
Yeah.
I don't know whether I pay taxes up front or after or what.
Yeah.
So, like, in that sense, I definitely wasn't set up to be a person. But also, like, I feel like I should have figured that out myself.
No, I get that. I feel like I'm the same way. Like, when I hear those, like, success stories, I'm like, okay, so what should I have done differently to put myself in a better position?
Well, the problem is, like, 80% of it's luck.
100%. Oh, for sure. Like, we're all learning the exact same things. And then it makes me think, like, should I be, like, eat, sleep, breathing, marketing? I don't want to do that. I think I've always been under the impression that, yeah, I'm going to work because I need money like everyone else. But for me, work isn't my life. It's an aspect of my life, but I don't want it to be, hi, I'm Nicole, I work at A.
Yeah. But at the same time, like, I don't know what I would do with the rest of my life, like, outside of work.
I don't know either.
It's the same thing where school being an obstacle, work, you simultaneously want to love what you do and also not let it define you.
Oh, for sure. And how the fuck do you do that?
It's the worst balancing act.
I don't feel like you ever get it right.
No.
I feel like just one day you're going to retire and you'll be like, oh, okay.
That was 40 years.
That was 40 years. I think that's why I'm so hesitant to jump into work, because I don't know. I'm like, once I start working, I can't just pick up and go on vacation whenever I want.
Yeah, you can't stop.
Or I can't just, I can't just not show up.
No.
This is it. Like, I'm there 9 to 5 every single day, like, for 40 years.
Yeah. Not to let my two podcasts bleed into each other, but at the beginning of The Office, Jim is getting interviewed, and he's like, no, this isn't a career. This is my job.
No, for sure. And he stays.
And he stays for a decade.
Yeah.
But he eventually does figure something out. Like, that's my thing, is he starts his own business. I don't know if I can feasibly see myself working for someone long term.
Interesting.
I don't know if I can see myself getting told what to do forever.
I've always been kind of the exact opposite, in the sense that I feel like the only way I'm going to be able to make sure that work does not define me is if I work for someone else, because the second I start working for myself, it becomes a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week job.
There's no turning it off.
No, there isn't, because you have to be on all the time. And we watch so many documentaries in school, and you see, the CEO who has formed this company, and, they're very, very happy, but that is their life.
Yeah.
That's their baby.
Yeah, I don't...
It's hard, right?
It's so hard, because, like, I don't like getting criticized on creative things. But at the same time, like, I need someone to tell me what to create.
No, I get that.
So, like, I just want to be told yes, basically, because I'm still a fucking child.
But that's okay.
I want to be able to make some scribbles on a piece of printer paper, and I want to be told, yes, that's beautiful, and it's going on the fridge every single time.
Yeah. That makes it so complicated.
Yeah.
I think it's just, like, I just want to know what's next. And I don't know at what point I stop asking what's next.
You can't. You always have to have something to
look forward to. Even if, like, at some point it's going to be like, okay, what's next? I want to buy this car. Or I'm saving up to get married. Or which is really expensive.
Which is very expensive.
Yeah.
Please only have open bars at your wedding.
Well, duh, or else you were not coming.
But, like, there's always going to be these goals, and I don't know if I'm interested in half of them. Well, like, I don't give a shit about, like, saving up for a car.
I'm the same way.
I don't give a shit about, like, saving up for a house. I'm fine renting.
Yeah.
But at the same time, then what am I saving my money for? What am I working for?
Yeah.
Other than something to do until I fucking die. Like, there's nothing worse than doing nothing.
I struggle with the fact that we're 21 and even having this conversation. Like, we are 21 years old. We are babies. When I was in Europe and I'm talking to like cousins and family members, and we're at the exact same stage in the sense that we're both in our 4th year of our undergrad.
Mm-hmm.
They're like 28 years old and I'm 21, or gonna be 21. I'm
Yeah.
still 20.
But at the same time, like, I don't know when I'm gonna stop worrying. I'm definitely never gonna stop worrying.
No, same
But
here.
like, I don't know when I'm gonna stop thinking I'm not ready.
I have no idea. I don't know when it just clicks and you're like, oh, I did it.
Because I'm either bored and unhappy with what I'm currently doing,
Mm-hmm.
or I'm waiting for the right thing to happen. And
It's
to some
sweet.
extent, like, yes, you have to be proactive, but it's still very much, like I said, it's about timing.
Yeah.
So, like,
There's so much uncertainty, and I hate uncertainty. I'm someone
Mm-hmm.
who I think I like to have control of situations. Like, I like to know what I'm getting myself into, and like if I do A and B, then I'm going to get to C.
yeah.
And now I don't know what's going on. I can do A, B, and somehow be at E, or I can do A, C, and B at G, and I don't know what I'm doing. Like, that didn't even make sense. And that's how I feel in my head right now, that I don't make sense.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like I'm slowly deteriorating.
Well, like, we're taught math so early where there is a definitive right answer.
And that's why I always loved math.
And then you kind of get used to there being a right answer.
Mm-hmm.
And even they introduce it that way with like English or language or whatever class,
Mm-hmm.
where it's like you have to learn the building blocks in order to do things. Like,
Yeah.
grade 1 English is not write an essay, it's spell this word correctly.
Yeah.
There is a definitive correct answer.
Yeah.
And at some point it turns into, all right, now tell me what your thoughts are.
Yeah. And you're like, what?
And it's like,
How do I do that?
when did I start having thoughts?
No, exactly. And then you're graded. Obviously, when you are graded on an essay, there is like a subjective point.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's why I've always liked math, because I liked knowing, okay, if I do this, I'm going to get this answer. 1 + 1 is 2. That is it. There
Yep.
is no debate. It's not what the teacher thinks. They're not going to somehow change it. It's
Yeah.
just 2. And it's so nice to just know that if I do this and this is going to happen. But right now I could do this and I could do my best.
Yeah.
And I could still not get to where I need to go. And I don't even know where I'm going.
Yeah.
So why am I doing this?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense that you are taught 100% equals 100%.
Yeah.
And now it's, you can put in 200% and get back 0. And it's just like, oh, well, fuck.
Yeah, and I don't know what to do to make sure that, like, I could study for my exams
Mm-hmm.
like
And
crazy.
you should.
Yeah, I need to.
Mm-hmm.
But that's no guarantee that I'm going to get in.
Yeah, there are no guarantees
And
anymore.
I don't even know what I want to get into.
Yeah.
Which is why sometimes I wish there was like a person following around and being like, Nicole, do this. And I'll be like, oh, okay. Yeah, I can do that.
But then you also have that external person to blame when it goes wrong, rather
Which
than
is-
blaming yourself.
That's what I want. I
I know.
don't want to fuck it up.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I'm fucking it up and I haven't done anything yet. And that was like, I remember when we originally started talking, and I would always say, I feel like I'm fucking up so hard and I have
And nothing's
done
happened.
absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
Why do I feel like I'm fucking up?
Because doing nothing feels like fucking up.
So how do you stop feeling this way?
Antidepressants? No, I don't know. I don't know.
I feel like for the most part, I'm a pretty straight up person, but it's the uncertainty now that is terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like not having control, and the fact that there's nothing I can do
Yep.
is driving me crazy.
Yeah.
And I have months of this, and I feel like I'm going to go insane. Like, I feel like it's just going to be like I said, nothing's happening right now, yet I'm having weekly mental breakdowns about
Mhm.
nothing. I mean, you're listening to most of them.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Well, like, in your mind, what is the worst case scenario?
I feel like that's a really good question. And I feel like it should be really obvious, but I mean, there's a lot of different answers I have for that. I'm not going to get in anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
It's I'm going to get in one place. It's I'm going to get in everywhere, and now I have to pick a place, and what if I pick the wrong place?
Mm-hmm.
It's how is everyone else going to react to what I get into?
Right.
What are people going to think if I choose this over this? I feel like a lot of my problem also is like, how are other people going to react to my decision?
Well, yeah, because like you don't live in a vacuum.
No.
Your life affects other people.
For sure.
As much as like I think I'm a piece of shit and no one cares.
Yeah, but I care.
Like when I make a decision, it can affect people.
For sure.
Like whether it's my parents because like
they're your parents.
They're my parents and obviously they care or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And like I'm living with them, so that impacts them, or like whether it impacts my friends or whatever. It can decisions can impact strangers too. Like
no, for sure. I think I'm just worried about people being disappointed in me and thinking that I messed up, or people thinking that like that wasn't a good idea, and I really worry and struggle with making the wrong choice and having people be disappointed.
But I don't think anybody's going to be disappointed with you going and getting your master's. Like that's not a disappointing.
But I don't know. What happens if I don't get in? Like I don't know. Like my parents, like I know deep down that whatever happens, my parents are going to be happy because I'm going to walk out of there with a degree. So, you know, their money didn't go to waste. But it's like I don't know how people are going to react. I don't know. I really have no idea. I don't know really what the worst case scenario is. I think it's just going to be whatever I do, and if it doesn't go well, that would be the worst case scenario.
Yeah, the worst case scenario is what happens.
Yeah, essentially, and there's, again...
You'll convince yourself that whatever happens, whatever ends up happening, that was the worst case scenario.
Yeah.
Where it's like, well, I got into 3 schools. Well, that's still 3 choices.
Yeah.
Whereas if you get into 1 school, it's like, oh, fuck, I only got into 1 school.
I know.
You get into, like, 0 schools, it's like, well, it's because I'm a piece of shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, but, like, okay, what's the best case scenario?
Whatever I get into makes me really happy. And it puts me in a good position to take the next step. Again, what the fuck's the next step? But it puts me in a good position to take that step.
Mm-hmm.
I think, you know, it's just like, you work towards like trying to be happy. So that next step is going to help me be happy, or happier maybe.
Mm-hmm. What do you think the moral is? Is there one?
We're all fucked, but we're not fucked.
If we're fucked together, then
it's okay. It's like when you're about to go write an exam and you know damn well you're fucked. And then you overhear a group of people and they're like, oh, wow, we're fucked too. And you're like, oh, okay. They're fucked. I'm fucked. It's fine. Ride the bell curve.
Yeah, at some point.
Ride the bell curve of life.
I think that's a great note to end on. I like that.
Ride the bell curve of life.
That was episode 1. I mean, hopefully it wasn't too terrible to listen to. If for some reason you want more of this, I'm hopefully uploading on a bi-weekly schedule, so you can subscribe on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, and also follow me on Twitter @_Midnight Musing. I'll update as best I can what is going on and when an episode is coming out. This is a Thunderdog podcast, so if you would like to learn more about the network as a whole, you can follow that on Twitter and Instagram @Thunderdog Radio. It's a project for me, my buddy Brad, and my pal Shelby. We're just gonna see where it goes. But for now, that's the end of this episode. I hope it didn't send you into a existential crisis as it did for me. And I'll see you next midnight.
Thanks for listening. That was a Thunderdog podcast.